Good morning, everyone. I'm truly grateful for the opportunity to present my research at this virtual convention. Today, I'm excited to share with you my findings on this presentation titled Development of Intercultural Awareness, Planning Didactic Units in Foreign Language English class, focused on studies from different lands. My name is Montse Terres, and I hope this talk today will contribute to furthering our understanding of intercultural education in language classroom. Sorry. In this presentation, there will be three parts. The first part deals with the description of the sequence of the didactic units, the aims, the research questions, the main pedagogical focuses, the tasks, and the instruments used. The second part is about the first results I have obtained by means of tasks and instruments, and the third part includes the main conclusions I have reached so far. My objectives today are delving into the importance of incorporating diverse cultural narratives into language education and the impact it can have on fostering intercultural competence among learners. Now that I've outlined the main themes of my presentation and before proceeding, I'd like to provide some background on the genesis of this research. This work represents a significant milestone in my academic journey as it's an extension of my master's research conducted back in 2009. And now I'm currently pursuing this research as part of my doctoral studies at the University of Vic, collaborating closely with my students in the third year of ISO at San Giuseppe School in Sant Hilari Sacalm. Central to this research is the design and implementation of a series of didactic units titled Tales from Many Lands. These units are meticulously crafted around a collection of stories sourced from different diverse countries, each offering unique cultural perspectives and insights designed to work in collaboration. The journey began in the academic year 2021 when we embarked on a pilot project to experiment with the design and implementation of the Tales from Many Lands didactic units. During this pilot phase, we had the opportunity to fine-tune our approach, gather valuable feedback from both students and educators, and basically identifying areas for refinement. This iterative process was instrumental in shaping the development of the didactic units and laying the groundwork for the subsequent implementation. Building upon the insights gained from the pilot project, we proceed to implement the full-scale initiative in the academic year 21-22. In fact, I want to highlight that this project is still done with my third of its students because, in my opinion, it is quite motivating and deals with the main competences apart from the intercultural awareness. Well, the aims of this research are encouraging raising cultural awareness to third of its students, grade 9, analyzing the benefits of reading stories from different lands for the third of its pupils, observing the impact on how we perceive these lands and reshape our ideas we have of them, and reflecting on the activities done during the year 22-23 and the instruments used for analyzing the data obtained. I'd like to concentrate on the research questions I have chosen in order to analyze the results. Here we can see the four main research questions. All of them start, can stories from other lands help 15-year-old students in English lessons to obtain knowledge of other cultures, develop skills to compare and relate to other cultures, appreciate and have positive feelings to another culture, and develop a spirituality? Now I'd like to move on the three major issues I have based my research on. The main focus is on stories, reading and understanding some stories from China, Morocco, Ghana, Spain, Russia, Ukraine, and Poland. All the stories are in English. Some are written by me, and some others are taken from some books. I've seen that the stories help the students to travel to other countries and cultures and to broaden their mind and to increase their imagination and creativity. I have also noticed that they make them easily feel attached to the main character and some type of empathy is raised. The second main issue is that critical cultural awareness. All these stories should facilitate them. And nowadays, I see that there's a huge need for communication among cultures, basically because of migration, business, work, travel, among others. And from my own point of view, I see that in ELT it's perfect to deal with cultural awareness because another language and culture is learned and this can help. The third main issue is about cooperative tasks. All the sequence is organized in a way that group tasks are important. Most of the activities are done in a pair work, and in each unit there is a discussion in groups with 3 4 students. Uh, Besides, I think it helps students communicate and develop critical thinking, something important with all the influences that we have nowadays. This leads me to the description of the didactic units I have designed. As I have said before, each didactic unit has a story as its central axis, and during the first term, we will focus on the tales of China, then on the Northwest Africa, and the third term in Ukraine, Poland, and Russia. Here I've got an activity. The first activity, it's a warm-up activity. And we start with a picture. Students must describe what they can see. And then there are some suggested questions that in groups they should answer. And once they have done this activity, we start with the introductory story called The Magic Book. That's the axis that unites and leads us to the rest of the stories. Once upon a time, in a magical forest where very few people could reach, lived a clever storyteller, old and as clever as the weather. His old wooden house was very big, but it disappeared with the mist that frequently hit the forest. The clever storyteller was the last one of all the clever storytellers. The time to go to the everlasting land was coming because he was very old, and new wise teenagers would be needed to make sure that the wisdom would not die. One day, the clever storyteller looked over the meadow and felt that his heart was heavy, and that in the sky there was a dark cloud. Bellis, come here. Bellis was the storyteller's beautiful granddaughter. Bellis ran to his grandfather and said, Dear father, I see that you are worried. I'm getting older and older, he replied. Without wisdom, there can be no new storytellers after I die. No children or teenagers have come to my forest for many years apart from you. Wisdom is fading in the earth. Folk tales are disappearing. The brightness in the sky is vanishing and the dark cloud of ignorance is approaching. If it's not stopped, it will grow strong enough. It will destroy all the wisdom in the folk tales of the world, and then the earth will become a cold, silent place. Its name is the Master of Ignorance. Grandfather, Bali said, you are wise beyond measure. Tell me what to do. Tell me how I can help, and I will do. We will stop this darkness. Thank you, Bellis. We'll try our best. We must find those who are young enough to rediscover the words. Every folk tale must be found. You and I cannot do it alone. Only you and some other teenagers who are still full of wonder can. Go off into the world and find some youngsters who are kind and true, who have wonders in their hearts and are neither selfish nor unkind, and who will be brave enough to go on a quest and turn life into magic. And what is their work? Where must I go? Asked Alice. Their task will be to rediscover the folktales and bring back their roots. They must listen to stories, listen to all people, ask questions, and search for the answers. Only then will the darkness be overcome. Only then these teenagers will find their way to our forest. When you find the right teenagers, group them, listen to their questions in their hearts, and help them to begin this journey. Every folktale they listen will bring them a step closer to the magic forest. Every time they learn something new, they will grow lighter, and the dark clouds will disappear and will prevent the icy grip of eternal cold. Belly said goodbye to her father. She ran down the path quickly and turned herself into a wild goose. She began to fly away from the forest. This story leads us to read different other stories and to do some exercises and tasks related. Here we've got a Catalan Spanish story, Blanca Flor, the pomegranate tree from Morocco, the hat shaking dance in Ghana. In second turn, we travel to the Chinese and Tibetan stories, the Cyprus tree, the land of the blue faces, and during the third term, the Ukrainian and Polish stories, Rechenka's axe and the fig tree. The activities that we did during each term were portfolios, one or two each term, group discussions, one each term, and a project about storytelling, that it was about writing a story reflecting on cultural elements each term. The tasks and instruments I have been using are the pre-test, filling in a form connected with cultural aspects that will be worked in the teaching unit, writing a student and teacher's diary, and and then another task will be evaluated by rubrics. In order to assess the students, different rubrics will be used. There is teacher's evaluation, self-evaluation, and co-evaluation. And the following tasks are evaluated according to these rubrics. There is the day-to-day in class, the individual discussion writings, the portfolios, the discussion in groups, the projects or final products. And finally, the post-test, that's exactly the same test that goes at the beginning, the pre-test. And it's from point of view, it's a tool for my research, in order a very good tool, quantitative tool, in order to compare the differences that there have been. This leads me to the first results, the second part of the first results of the empirical study that evaluates the development of intercultural awareness of the pupils through the collected data. I explained the data collection procedures used according to Lafever 2017 and the medicine wheel. I don't know if you are familiar with that. She separates in four aspects: the knowledge, skills, emotions or values, and spirituality. And I present the first quantitative and qualitative data of this research. As you can see in the first slide, there are two graphs. The first one is from the pre-test and the other one is from the post-test. And it assesses the research question of knowledge. Conflict between countries, ethnic and group and social groups will never be solved. Peace and justice are impossible. These graphs show you the difference. While in the pre-test, the answers were most similar among them, and it's the one we expect from in the post-test. The four answers are more equally chosen, which means there has been a change in probably they are starting to broaden their mind and think about these aspects, while at the beginning is more the ideal answer than the one that they have given. If we take a look at the second research question, we can see that this chart illustrates one question of the skills. Imagine that a family has arrived from another country in your town. They have no work and they live in a building that is falling down in your neighborhood and they have nothing to eat. What would you do? In the pretest, we see clearly that all of them may spend a bad time. I will try to meet them and see what I can do. So it's 86% of people will do. So that's what expected, While in the post-test, we see a clear difference. The four answers are more equally chosen, and not all of them are going to help. Some others, some start thinking that they prefer working with people from their own country or that they shouldn't have come here. We see that these answers are starting to come at the end. In the third research question about values, and for what purpose would you like to live in other countries? While in the pretest, we see that the most chosen option is the job reputation. And because I love meeting new people, we see that in the post-test, the most chosen one are because of learning new languages and for meeting new people. So we can see a change. Probably job reputation is given by the society, something ideal, that if you go abroad, you are going to get a better job. And they are going to start seeing that there can be other reasons in order to work or to travel abroad. And the fourth research question is about spirituality. I cannot do anything with the problems of the world. We can see that the most chosen has been in both partially disagree. So they see some negative aspects in dealing with the world problems, but not completely, while the strong agree has increased. This means that they can see more possibilities in what they can do with the world's problems. In the last slide, I have shown, well, in this slide I have I have given you, well, the students and teachers' perspectives. We can see my diary. One of the questions that I have analyzed is, have you learned about other cultures? We see that in this graph, most of them have said some and a little, yeah. The rest, of course, there are some people who have said not at all, and some very few, but I see that most of them, most of the students have learned, yeah. And some quotations I have taken from the diary is I have found them very interesting, but they have been a bit long. I liked it a lot. It has been entertaining. It's a good way to learn more. Good because we have to think about other cultures, different and special. It makes you think about how to treat people depending on their country and how they are. And from the teacher's diary, I have taken one of the questions was, have you acquired new skills, cultural skills? Your students have acquired new skills? And the teacher says yes, I think so. Now I'm going to show you one video that students prepared. It was about storytelling, and they had to invent a story or represent a story with in a Chinese shadow puppetry. Okay, I have reached to the, in order to finish, I have reached to the following conclusions. Considering that I have just started, well, I have finished analyzing the quantitative research, the test, the cultural incidents, and the diary of the students, and I have just started analyzing the qualitative one. We can see a real difference when analyzing the research question about knowledge. There is a lot of there is a change and improvement. In the rest of the research question, there is not a lot of improvement comparing to the pre-test and the post-test. What I notice is that in the pre-test, their opinion is more radical. It seems much more what society tells them that they have to say or think. And in the post-test, they have started broadening their minds. We also see that because of COVID, we had to do it all in 4 months. For this reason, some students thought that it was a bit long, and the students were tired the last few weeks, few days. And I think that this is reflected in the post-test as well. The discussion in groups and personal writings are not analyzed at all or finished. I haven't finished with that, and I think we can get a lot of information from there. And I want to finish my presentation with a quotation, a famous quotation from a politician: culture is the widening of the mind and of the spirit. And I want you to thank you for your attention, and I hope this presentation has helped you to broaden or to see the importance of intercultural awareness in ELT. Bye bye.